Hi, good evening or afternoon, everyone, as the case may be. I'm Matthew Shagam, and I'm here to update a little bit about what's happened here in the spring of 2021 in terms of test prep and what you should know about going into this year's tests if you are, in fact, registered for them. And the reason why I bring that up is because chances are you've heard from a lot of people and talked with a lot of people about how a lot of colleges, in fact, I think pretty much every one of them, is no longer requiring the SAT or ACT through the duration of the pandemic. So, generally speaking, if you're feeling stressed out about these tests, it's one silver lining to all of this trouble is that you don't really have to go through them. And I do also want to point out that if you are planning on taking them, you want to register soon because there's not a whole lot of test slots available this year. And of course, unfortunately, there's very few test locations. So, to speak to that, just so everyone is aware, currently I'm looking at about 5 schools are still open for testing in Vermont for the April ACT, and that's Brattleboro Union, Castleton University, Champlain Valley Union, Vermont Academy over in Saxton's River, and Hartford High School out of White River Junction. For the March SAT, there's only 2 schools in the state that I believe are still open for testing. One of them is Rice High School over in the Burlington area, and the other is going to be Springfield High School down in Springfield. Otherwise, the only 2 locations really serving Vermont students are going to be over in Troy, New York, and Canaan, New Hampshire. So this is a year where if you're not dead set on taking the test, and I really think most students don't need to be, it's understandable that you go ahead and skip it this year. I'm thinking that the students who really do want to take the tests are students who feel particularly that there's some aspect of their curriculum that doesn't really show up in terms of their skills, perhaps low grades, perhaps no opportunity to take certain classes. And certainly that's understandable this year that, you may have been doing work on your own that's not going to be reflected in your courses because of any of the number of reasons of self and online study that have emerged. So, with that, I just want to underscore that if you do have specific questions, I'm always happy to answer them. And I hope that next year we're able to come back and host the next College Pathways 2022 safely and together as we always have. I believe my email is available in other materials. Otherwise, it's just mshagam@gmail.com. And I hope everyone has a safe and happy testing season. Not quite the holiday season, but otherwise, I just want to underscore be safe. These are not essential to your future, and you should always check for cancellations. Finally, one last piece is just on the subject test. As you may have heard, those are canceled this year. They may not come back ever. I haven't really heard any talk of bringing them back at the moment, but we'll see because I do expect that there will be a return after the pandemic, after maybe a year or two as well, for a desire for tests that are able to show higher proficiencies than are currently assessed by the SAT or the ACT. But that's one of those stay tuned things for your younger brothers and sisters or your little cousins or what have you, because it's not something you have to worry about this year. So, everyone, good luck, be well, and we'll see everyone in 2022.